Has UGA fixed its wide receiver problem, or are we looking at this the wrong way? What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If that is something you're into, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Do you think that UGA has fixed its wide receiver problem, or should I say its pass catching problem? A lot of ways to go at this, and I think UGA is one of the more fascinating teams to look at in 2025 with the quarterback change, with the additions of Noah Thomas and Zachariah Branch, and really trying to unpack this question. I'm also going to take this opportunity to remind you, we got an audio podcast on Apple and Spotify, and if you are kind enough to go to Apple, Spotify, leave us a 5-star review, I am going to put one of these stickers in the mail to you. My goodness, guys, we're approaching 500 ratings, and we haven't even got to SEC Media Days, which begin Monday and go through Thursday, and there's the Major League Baseball All-Star Game on Tuesday, Home Run Derby on Monday, and then I get to go back to Drillers games on July 18th, and your man's is excited about that. All right, so does UGA have a pass-catching problem? It absolutely positively does. It was the worst pass-catching team in the SEC last year, and it wasn't great in FBS. In all of the games that they played, right, from the beginning of the season to getting bounced by Notre Dame, you had UGA wide receivers that dropped a total of 36 passes, according to Sports Info Solutions. That's just far too many, right? If you spread that out across 4 receivers, that's 9 drop passes in 14 games, right? So I'm looking at this and I'm asking, for real, is it important that Zachariah Branch and Noah Thomas can catch the football? Absolutely, positively it is. But does that mean they're going to get more opportunities to catch the football? That is a question worth considering. So what do you have? You have Gunnar Stockton going into year one as the guy, even as he was the starter against Notre Dame, comported himself well in the SEC championship game. And I've been more or less impressed by what Gunnar Stockton has shown so far. Right down to my man still driving the same pickup truck he's been driving for years. That's straight out of high school football lore. Gives Quinn Ewer vibes, right? Quinn Ewers was a very good quarterback for Texas that I still don't think gets enough of his due. But Gunnar Stockton is trying to do something that, has already been done, right? With Stetson Bennett, would win the national championship in the college football playoff era, whereas Quinn Ewers still was trying to win a national championship college football playoff era. Time came and went. Now it's Arch Manning's turn to try to do that and get Texas its first national championship in 20 years. This is the part where I remind you that Georgia went back-to-back 2021, 2022. And they did it without having productive wide receivers on par with the other teams that they might play, right? Say, if we're thinking about great football teams, how many of us have a passing team in our mind? How many of us have a great defensive team in our mind? Even so, what you usually come across is at least one 1,000-yard receiver, one guy who produces and makes all those catches. I think about Colorado and Travis Hunter, who had 96 catches for over 1,200 yards, right? I'm thinking about Jeremiah Smith, who had 76 catches for over 1,300 yards. An anomaly that, talk about in another segment, is Ryan Williams not really getting to that mark. But I find it fascinating that UGA has been so committed to the run that it just ignores that metric altogether. And this is historically, I've given this stat a couple of times because I still think it's mind-blowing. In UGA's history, they've had just one 1,000-yard receiver in a season. Just one. It's not Brock Bowers. It's not George Pickens. It's not A.J. Green. It's not Hines Ward. It's Terrence Edwards. 2002, he caught 1,004 yards receiving. Remarkable that this is the only guy, and it was the only year, which makes it feel like even more of an anomaly because it's not a player that you think of right off the top of your head when you talk about Georgia football. Because when you talk about Georgia football, you're usually talking about run the ball, playing defense, right? Think about Herschel Walker, for instance. You're thinking about Nick Chubb, Sony Michel, right? Keep going down the line. Zeus, all the way down. Because that program's DNA is built on defense and running the ball. which is what I think you're going to see more of when we talk about the best teams in college football. I am a quarterback. I like to throw the ball around. But you know what I like doing more? Winning at a high level. One of the things that I enjoy about, say, Oklahoma State and Mike Gundy, quarterback, Oklahoma State. But his job was to exist between that half second between taking the snap and handing the ball to Barry Sanders. Let's not overcomplicate this thing. And if you're Georgia, that's what you're going to be. That's who you're going to be. You're going to use 1-2 backs to try to pound on people, and you're going to play stifling defense and be a 900-pound gorilla sitting on people's chest. And that matters as you get into the deep end of college football when you start playing for championships. Whoever can control that ball and keep this game going in the direction that they wanted to go, and usually if you're a running team with a great defense, you want a low-scoring game, they're probably going to win the national championship. Now, Ohio State was a bit of an anomaly last year because they had a 4,000-yard passer and they had a 1,000-yard receiver or two, and they had a great run game. But they were balanced is what I would say, right? They proved that balance in the second half, throwing the ball a little bit more. But if you looked at what Michigan was doing in 2023, it's just running the ball instead, sitting on people's chest. Look at Georgia 2022, same. 2021, same. 2020, Alabama was balanced. It could run the ball, and it could throw the ball all over the yard. One of the best college football teams we've ever seen. LSU, different. LSU was able to win a national championship throwing the ball all around, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire was back there running when they needed him. And then you get back to 2018, Clemson. Defense, run the football. Defense, run the football. Now, 1,000-yard receivers tend to pop up, especially as we play more games. Like, people forget that we only got to 12 regular season games in 2006, and we've since gone to you playing 16 games last year to win the national championship. That used to be an NFL regular season, right? But the drops have to stop. Because when UGA throws the ball, and they will throw the ball because you'll look and Carson Beck's thrown for more than 3,000 yards back-to-back years, you will have those opportunities to pick up big yardage and chunk plays. Ladd McConkey comes to mind, right? But you're not going to have one guy that you're just juicing the ball to, like, say, 2021 Pitt with Kenny Pickett and Jordan Addison. You are going to have stay out of our way on the defensive side. You are going to have please and thank you to whenever you can get a pass your way. Like, one of the things I find remarkable about the Brock Bowers experience is he's not a 1,000-yard receiver. And if anybody was getting fed the football, it was that guy on that offense. We were talking about throwing the ball, but that's not who they are. You just need to not drop passes. If Zachariah Branch and Noah Thomas can take that number from 36 down to 10, I think we're talking about a different Georgia team. Because if you had guys that were willing to run after the ball, run after catch, and weren't trying to protect what they think they're going to make in the NFL, perhaps it's a little bit different. But we don't even go across the middle like we used to. There's really not that big a hazard in playing wide receiver like it used to be. It used to be, what's targeting? I'm going to clean you up. That's what it is, right? And you got, like, I'm thinking about 2008, Oklahoma, Florida. There's one play in particular where you could see, Florida's about to just destroy us. Or so we thought, right? And it was when you have safeties like Major, who would just go, I don't want the ball. I want you. I want to catch a dead body. It's a different game. We don't have those anymore. We don't have hospital balls anymore like that because dudes get tossed out of games for going at the head or neck. That is gone. So I've always kind of thought, if you put wide receivers of Georgia on the jugs machine, would you get 2019 LSU? Maybe. But is that what you want to be? No. What they want to be is an odd front who makes it hell to play offense against them, and an offense that is just going to wear you out. So by the middle of the third quarter, you're seeing guys that were going for 5 and 6 yards break them for explosive plays. I think that is the juice. All Zachariah Branch, Noah Thomas, and that group need to do is catch the ball when it gets thrown to them. Outside of that, you got 4 new offensive line starters, and I get it. It's plug and play at Georgia, but it's going to matter, right? We'll see how much it matters as we get deeper in the SEC